Welcome to Conversations with Kelly, a podcast by the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Kelly Basil, and this is our first Minisode. I'm joined by Chris Counihan, Director of the Division of Paid Leave at the Delaware Department of Labor. Now, the portal for Delaware employers to opt out opens on September 1st, and Chris is here to share important information about Delaware Paid Leave. So we are all prepared for when it takes full effect on January 1st, 2026. Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're just going to jump right on in. I've got a list of questions for you. First, what is Delaware Paid Leave and how does it compare to the FMLA?
So the FMLA is the Family Medical Leave Act. It's been around for 30 years, just over 30 years. And it allows employees to take unpaid but job-protected time off of work to take care of their own serious illness or family, loved ones, and to also welcome in a new child. The paid family medical leave is an insurance program that pays for employees to stay home during those periods when they have these qualifying events.
And what was the motivation for Delaware to implement this program?
So when the program started, FMLA, 30 years ago, most people were expected to be able to survive off of their savings. But the amount of emergency savings that most people have in their accounts has dwindled over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It was poor before COVID, and during COVID, it dropped to very low numbers. Like 2/3 of American families say that they don't have enough emergency savings to be able to take time off of work for an emergency like this. So an insurance program that provides income replacement for these events is really needed in times like these.
What are the benefits of Delaware Paid Leave besides the financial support?
Besides financial support, this is a program that's an employee benefit just like all other employee benefits. And the idea behind all employee benefits is to attract and retain great workers. So in this tight labor marketplace, it's a great way for Delaware companies to be able to compete with other states that currently have paid leave or are getting paid leave and other states that don't. It actually makes us a better place to work.
Mm-hmm. What types of paid leave will employers have access to?
So there's 4 kinds. The first kind is parental leave, which is when you stay home with a healthy child to bond with that child. And the other 2 main ones are medical leave for the individual employee. It's a lot like short-term disability. And family caregiver leave, which is something that's kind of unique to paid family medical leave. It's when you take time off when a loved one, a child, a spouse, or a parent is seriously ill or injured. And then finally, qualified exigency, which is a strange name, but it refers to the employee who stays behind while a loved one is on overseas military deployment.
Okay. That is a lot of coverage. How will employees be able to break this up?
So it's best to think about it as 4 different types of coverage that just happen to be bundled together in one program to make it easier to administer and to provide claims. So basically, the online administrative system, our Delaware Labor Force, which is being designed right now, will help guide employees through the process of filing a claim to know which kind they're really facing at the time.
Why would a claim be denied?
So claims are denied for a variety of reasons. We follow FMLA, which has been around for 30 years, but has only really applied to employers that have more than 50 employees.
Okay.
So we're trying to mirror that program as much as possible so that they have similar benefits. So we follow FMLA's rules about when claims are denied. And one of them is if you haven't worked for at least 12 months with the employer. Another is if you've worked less than 1,250 hours in
Very
the
specific.
past year. It is very specific. It comes out to about 25 hours a week on average. So it's an area where you can, if you're working 3 shifts a week, you're right at that 24. So it's a very delicate time, but it's what's in FMLA. So we tried to carry forward with that. Our program will help you administer that program to see who is in and who is not in the program.
We know that Delaware Paid Leave will impact businesses in different ways, depending on the number of eligible employees, as you kind of just mentioned. Could you explain what's expected from different kinds of businesses?
Yeah, so if you're over 50 employees, again, this is something you've been doing for 30 years. You've been administering FMLA internally for the last 30 years. And what's being added is coverage for employers going down to as low as 10 employees. If you have 10 or more employees, it's mandated to have this coverage for your workers. But at that lowest level, between 10 and 24 employees, you're only expected to provide paid parental leave.
Okay.
And then if you go above 25 or above employees, that's when you are asked to provide the full gambit of all those coverages.
What are some key deadlines that Delawareans should keep in mind?
So the first deadline is the opening of our opt-in, opt-out portal, which is September 1st. Now, opting in and opting out is not what it sounds like. So opting in is for smaller employers who are below 10, who wish to participate in this program, be treated as any other employer, pay the same rate, get the same benefits, no matter how small you are, even if you're a single employee employer.
Even though they're not mandated.
Even though they're not mandated. So it's a voluntary coverage program. And for those who are between 10 and 24 employees who are only mandated to provide the parental leave, if you wish to provide the additional coverages to be on par with larger employers in what you can offer your employees, you can do so again through this opt-in portal. And that is, again, the same rates, the same coverage as you provide to the larger employers. Now, opting out sounds like this is something you can get away with not doing. What it actually means is everybody is in what we're calling the public plan, Delaware Paid Leave. But if you are able to either secure insurance from a Department of Insurance approved carrier, specifically to match or meet or exceed the requirements of the Act, or if you self-insure, which is for larger employers, then you're able to opt out of the public plan. You're still in the mandate overall.
Okay. What's your advice to employers?
My advice for employers is to figure out what you need to be competitive in this labor market. What do you want to do for your employees, and what are your employees tending to take anyway that you're currently paying out of pocket? If you really think about those who are currently taking leave that you, as the employer, are paying their wages as any other day of the week, but you don't have them there, an insured policy will really help you protect your financial risk from that kind of variability. So it's always there for you to make your own intelligent decision based upon your own business's needs.
For employers interested in learning more about Delaware Paid Leave, you can visit de.gov/paid leave. You can also email any questions you might have to pfml@delaware.gov or call the 24/7 365 call center at 302-761-8375. Chris, any final words?
Please give us a call if you have any questions, any comments. This is the best time to do it before the plan gets implemented, where we can really start thinking about your special needs. And so please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Conversations with Kelly, brought to you by the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. Before we sign off, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen. I know podcast hosts say this all the time, but your support is invaluable, and it helps other listeners easily find us. I'm your host, Kelly Basil. We'll see you soon.